Presentation will be comparing biodiversity at two different sites, waterfall and upstream at Stillhouse Hollow Falls in Middle Tennessee. For the upstream site, I measured a 3-foot transect 2 feet from the stream and 2 feet from the bridge. I measured a 4-inch by 4-inch plot per foot of the transect and counted the various clumps of moss samples in each plot for each species. 3 different species of moss observed. One was a young pine cone looking moss, one was a fern-like moss, and one was a starburst-like moss. At the second site, which was the waterfall, I climbed up to a ledge directly behind the waterfall and measured a 3-foot transect. I measured a 4-inch by 4-inch plot per foot of the transect and counted the clumps of moss in each plot for each species. At the waterfall site, there was only one species of moss observed that was a pine cone-like moss. It was a much brighter green and thinner version compared to the upstream site pine cone moss. For the upstream site, there were a total of 10 samples counted for the green and brown pine cone-like moss, 42 samples for the green fern-like moss, and 30 samples for the green starburst moss. For the waterfall site, a total of 60 samples was counted for the bright green pine cone-like moss species. After completing the appropriate calculations for the data, the upstream site had higher numbers compared to the waterfall site, had higher number of species, heterogeneity, and evenness. So what does all this mean? With the upstream site having more biodiversity in moss compared to the waterfall site, both sites had one similar species of moss, which was the pine cone-like moss. As mentioned before, the upstream site pine cone-like moss was a dark green or brown with thicker appendages compared to the waterfall site pine cone-like moss, which was a bright green with thin appendages that almost made the rock look furry. The increased number of species compared to the two sites could be due to the upstream area being calmer and providing enough moisture for the moss to plant itself to the stream shoreline without having a constant pounding such as at the ledge behind the waterfall. Only specific species of moss has been able to plant itself on rocks behind the waterfall, possibly because other species might not be able to handle that high pressure volume water constantly. For the upstream site, there appeared to be more fern-like moss compared to the other species along the stream shoreline. This could be adaptability, where there might not be enough volume and moisture for the pine cone-like moss to grow. The evenness for the upstream site is close to the 1 value, but still lower due to such decrease in pine cone-like moss compared to the other 2 species. Thank you for watching this presentation.
Created using Powtoon.